This is the Water Commissioners meeting, January 10th, 2024, 4 p.m. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, approved minutes. Looking for a motion for December 13th.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the minutes of December 13th.
So I will either second that or basically all those in favor, just me and you, because Mr. Woodward was absent. Aye. Okay. Then we're looking for a motion for the 15th and the 27th.
I would like to make a motion for the meeting minutes of, I'll do December 15th first. That's just Mr. Esposito and I were present on that one.
Okay. Yep, so,
I'll second that.
yep.
Okay.
I wasn't here, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I'd also like to make a motion for the meeting of December 27th, in which Mr. Birch and Mr. Woodward were present, Mr. Esposito was not.
Okay, I'll second that. And all those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay. We've reviewed and signed the warrants. No questions on those? We're all good?
Yeah.
So we have next on the agenda, a meeting with Kevin O'Brien to discuss with the board his attorney's legal opinion on extending the water to his project on Howard Street. Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Chairman, board member. My name is Kevin O'Brien. I think you probably knew that. I sent you a memorandum from the last meeting we had back in December. We talked about getting an opinion from my attorney and sending it to you all to look at and give your opinions before you send it to your attorney. But that's what I have done. And I think what I'm looking for the board to do is either vote for it or vote against it. So as I said at the last meeting, I can move forward on which way I'm gonna go further on this.
Is this going to our attorney yet?
No.
No.
So then, that's kind of a question that I have for you guys, or one of my questions. Do we need to send this to our attorney to make a decision on it? Do we want to incur that additional expense and tie this out longer? Or, is there a specific reason in the document that we have before us that leads us to send it to our attorney for review?
My opinion is, I've read the whole thing and tried to absorb it as much as I can. And it doesn't change what the voters voted on. I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
We talked about this at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Again, we move it.
Because I don't wanna override the voters'
And I
vote, and I won't do
understand
that.
I basically, I'm on the same page as
Okay,
Mr.
so I agree that if everything in here, that our attorney would not have an issue with anything in here, but if they did, that we could come back to this document. But I'm prepared myself if we wanted to vote on this. One of the things that stuck out in this, and it wasn't any of the section of Senate Bill 167 and CMR this or whatever it was, is, it says in here about halfway down, on behalf of the district, to get it in full context. It talks about the board's power and recognize its own power to contract on behalf of the district. And when you get that on behalf of the district, we had a couple votes, we're elected officials. The way I look at it, the district has not shown support for this. Whether we have the power or not to do it, even if I agreed we did, I would not be looking to, my personal is the same thing, as I would go with the way the district has voiced their opinion right now. So If somebody wanted to make a motion in regards to this, so we could vote on this and put this to bed and move on to the next item, that would be great.
Okay, I'll make a motion to deny Mr. O'Brien's request to expand the water district or sell him water at the district boundary,
Basically as he has outlined.
as he has outlined.
Yeah,
yes.
and I think we all understand that he's explained it to us numerous times.
Can I just clarify, am I able to?
Yeah, if you want.
I don't want to expand the district.
No,
So I want to bring the water leave it in the district.
right.
Correct.
So that,
Eventually, water will go out of the district.
Correct.
right,
And I buy from my water company.
right. And you understand all the responsibilities of that and
Absolutely.
everything. I think we've been through these things a million times.
Yeah, too, that's why I
But
didn't go through
for-
it.
for-
line by
Yeah,
line.
yeah. But yes,
yes,
to
you-
summarize.
to correct,
He has
yes, that
property
is
within the district. He wants to run the water line to that property.
So do we want to redo the motion to more accurately state it?
I think
Maybe we should, yeah.
Yes, I guess,
So we need to refer selling water outside of the district, which I think you did.
yes. So I would say point one would be to extend the water service to a property he owns within a district. To then start a private water company and sell water outside the district to an adjoining parcel?
Well, sell it to the water department, the new water department water
Right.
company that I.
You would have,
create.
right,
And we all know what's going outside it.
right.
Some of it's gonna go in, but some of it's gonna, majority is gonna go out.
So I guess the crux of it would be that we're denying the expansion of the water system to his property
In the
for,
district.
for purpose of resale. Is essentially what you're doing, and the definition, whether it's inside or outside? Are you working on something that you can read to us so that we have a?
I thought that Mr. Woodward was.
No, he's gone.
I got it right here, okay. No, no,
You got it.
I got it,
Yeah.
You just got promoted.
I just,
okay,
I would like to make a motion
yes,
to deny Mr. O'Brien's request to, one, extend service to his property, which is inside the district,
yep,
and also that we will not sell privately water to him. That's not worded right.
To his
No,
water.
To his water company.
okay, I think the purpose of him extending it is to then create a water company?
But this denies it to both.
This denies it to both.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
isn't
Yep.
that two different things?
Well, yes, it is,
He
but,
can't do the second until he does the first, so if he
Yeah,
doesn't
but
get
it's
the
denying
first
both.
done.
but it's even, it
Just clears the
yes,
whole-
it just
Yeah,
clears it.
denial of
I just
expansion,
want-
I'd rather have it that way. I'd
Right.
rather have
All right, I
it.
just
denial
wanted-
of expansion
Okay,
of the
Did that.
system
Just wanna make sure
for the
that's right.
purpose of creation of a water company to sell water within and also outside the district, because that would be your intent.
Correct.
I think that they're perfectly
Is
clear.
that,
Yes.
And again, we've had conversations about, if when I came from the ZBA board, that they let me come and talk to you guys a year or so ago, and we talked about if it was allowed, that we would do, tanks
Okay.
and stuff like that.
You got the motion, you gotta.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
okay,
Sorry.
okay. We're solid on the motion?
Yes.
Okay. All,
Did
what?
someone second?
You need to
I'll
second.
second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
My apologies, I should have flown
Yeah.
through that a little more.
Well, we should have probably,
Excuse me, we've been a little busy with
It'll
that.
get clarified
yeah.
further,
Oh, yeah.
and your lawyer will see, I'm sure, at some point. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you,
Mr. O'Brien.
Enjoy your 6 o'clock.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good night.
All right, then we have Commissioner, Superintendent, Clerk, Treasurer additions.
The only thing I can touch on is the pilot testing with the Hooker Hills well. I don't know if you wanna, kinda tied to the old business. But, the pilot test is still ongoing. It's on the base levels right now, they're just doing the iron removal. It's a, 3-step process, they do the iron, then the manganese, and then the PFAS. So right now, it's just the iron removal, that's working great, that got up and online pretty quick, and then the holidays came on, so they just kinda let it just continue with that. They ramped it up just yesterday, the flow rate, so that we're pumping more water through, which will be more precise to what the next stages will be. And so then the manganese is coming in. We're getting the manganese media from the Shrewsbury, town of Shrewsbury. They already have a manganese biological removal system, so we're gonna steal some of their media and put it in, so we don't have to build our own media, generate our own bacteria. It's gonna be already there. It's gonna start up.
And
Should be pretty quick.
the bacteria that generates is the same whether it's in Townsend or Groton or,
In most cases, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
that, I'm gonna go a little further, but, so that's kind of the thinking with the Lancaster Ave wells. The Lancaster wells and the Hickory Hills well have the same water quality issues. So we're thinking that we can take the media from the Hickory Hills pilot test and move it to Lancaster. And, I guess in some rare cases.
move it to Lancaster Ave.
Lancaster.
Talk about Lancaster, some people
Lancaster,
get it.
yeah.
Boy, I thought I screwed up before that.
In rare cases, the water, they're not compatible, so the water entering from a different source will kill the bacteria, which is all bad. So that's all we need to do is prove that bacteria will survive at Lancaster Ave as well. And then hopefully that will reduce the time frame for the pilot testing.
Good.
So we're doing, at the meeting at 6 o'clock, the 200,000 is for a full-blown pilot test, which could happen. But hopefully things work out good and we can shorten the time frame up.
Okay. The concerns or the discussion we had regarding the Lunenburg Conservation and the pilot study, did any of that get resolved?
I've never heard anything on it.
Okay.
I left it.
So
I talked
we-
to Mary Wilson. I left it on her. She liked it as it was originally planned. Originally we installed. And then the complaint came in that we did it wrong, and so we moved it.
Okay.
And she didn't like that. She wants it back to where it was, and I'm like, you do whatever you want to do. Talk to the Mass DEP, and we'll do whatever. And I haven't heard a thing.
Okay.
So it's still in the same spot. We got the
Okay.
hay bales out. We put up the snow fence just for, I don't know who wanted the fence. I think someone from down there wanted the fence. So we stuck up the fence, and as far as I know, we're all to our permit.
Okay.
So, yes, I haven't heard a thing on it. But and if they do come out and say, hey, we prefer it over there, show me in writing that it's good to go, and we'll move it.
Yeah.
Have we had any more issues with traffic blocking vehicles on the way? Has our access?
The guy, the person is, they still park kind of on an angle, you know. We did speak to our attorney. We can put up a sign. We have legal rights to that. We can bring a lawsuit if needed. We do have the rights to tow. He recommends that we put up a sign. And
I definitely.
So-
I think we should put up a sign.
Okay, so here's one of the questions that I have is, are we talking to the right people? Some people are getting, I would assume like the guy that continually parks where he shouldn't. Some people are getting to that point. Do we need to be talking to the property owner?
management company.
That's what, okay, because from what I understand, nobody owns property down there. And yes, the residents have boards, but the boards go through a management company that we've now started to hear from a management company.
Right.
So I think, you mentioned a sign, I think our easement allows us to do it, but we should give a heads up to the management company, so if they can resolve this internally, then we reduce having to put signs and tow people to have access. Because we unfortunately need to be there every day to ensure that this pilot study
So the
operates.
the person with the vehicle, he kind of moved it so we could get by. I mean, so it was okay. I spoke to our attorney, and she asked, do you want me to write a letter, you know, to say they cannot park anywhere in that access in the roadway, denying us any clear access to it. And I said, no, everything seems to be okay.
Okay.
So let's just leave it. Hold on.
Okay.
So then, later that day, we get a call that someone's blocking the road completely. They can't even get out
One
of
of the
the
guys
place.
from Blue Leaf couldn't leave.
So the pilot guy doing the pilot test couldn't even get out of there. I called her back, I'm like, write the letter.
Yeah.
So we have to write a letter. We don't, I'm trying to be cooperative and not call the police and fire every time the guy's parked in the way.
I think the thing, when you're talking about signs would be nice and working with that, but I think that vehicle may have been a contractor that came in. You know what I mean? It wasn't that resident specifically parking there, so I
So-
think if there are signs or if there's something to imply
There
that the
absolutely
contractor.
has to be a sign there just
Yeah.
for, and I'm not like, this is not like a negative thing, but it just, there has, who would know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, when you drive down there, it's not like clearly defined, like this is the accident. I
Yeah.
mean, we know.
We had
you know,
a couple signs,
But if we
but I don't
had, we
think
definitely
there's-
need to have a sign just to state and it's not the obvious, to state that we need to have access to this site 24/7. You know, we don't need to give them a call first that we're coming in. That's what the easement is that we have access. If something goes wrong down there, we need to get down there.
So I would work with the management company, tell them that we need access 24/7, and we've had these issues. My suggestion is have them, tell them that we want to make up a sign. If they, obviously, it's a neighborhood, we want to try to have something that fits, but it's signage, it has to be there. No parking, fire lane signs, stop signs, the signs have to be there, so.
Really, maybe two signs, fire lane,
Yeah,
I don't know if we paint it or whatever, and then,
no
do not
access. Yeah, do not block.
access. And if
Yeah.
the fire lane's clear, then.
Somehow, all that's to say is 24-hour access is required, tow zone, 24-hour access is required or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have fire, for property I maintain, we have fire lane, no tow zones on private property,
Right.
so that the people know not to park there, so that we can adequately clear snow and so forth.
So, just so we're all clear, I sent a notification 48 hours in advance, I think it was actually more, to be cooperative. From speaking with the attorney, I don't have to do that,
Correct.
but he
Right.
says, be cooperative to the start, because when we go to the attorney and take legal action, they're gonna wanna see that we were cooperative and we tried.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing, we're still in the cooperative mode right now, they make everything perfect and happy, I don't.
I don't want this to come out as a negative thing.
No.
I think
agree.
putting the sign up just, it clears so there's no question, so everybody knows, like, you can't park here, we need to have access to this. This is nothing new, we've had access to this forever.
Forever.
It's just, it could be that, yes, the wrong person parks there. If you came down there to visit, and I don't think people are doing it, to be mean about it or anything.
Right.
It just, I think,
And I think the management company is the way to go, because that's their job, to communicate with the property, the boards, and the people that live there. The people that are on boards there, and when people are on board, when you're on a board somewhere, it takes, it takes a lot of your time.
sure.
So to add to what they need to do, I think that's the
I
job
definitely-
of a management company. So I
I agree with you
I
on
would
the
start
management.
there.
I believe that is who we should be communicating with, and that they from there can do it as they see fit to get the message across to whatever avenue they'd have a better understanding of how to manage
Who
that.
to
That's what they get paid
communicate
to
with.
do.
Yep.
So,
So, so I don't think we need a motion to, no.
I don't think so.
I think that
Right.
We're just
that's,
on what, yeah.
I would follow it along and see how it goes and bring it up to us, as things go.
Quick one, Mass Ave, all the final information is into the state, waiting on the final approval of the permit.
Yep.
do we have a rough time frame on that?
We all had a big Zoom meeting, we all talked, and we questioned, well, what do you wanna see for this and this, and the engineers actually took all the
Yeah.
communication and responded with exactly what the state wanted to see.
So it is sitting at Mass DOT right now.
Yes.
Waiting for the final.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a lot of little things, so we just got the certificate of insurance, and actually it was the bond. The
Yeah, it was their bond.
Sure.
The bond, we had to have, instead of pulling a whole new bond, we had Mass DOT added to our bond.
Okay.
So that just took an extra week, that just went into them, so we should be good to go.
I mean, obviously, my fear is that this keeps going, and then once we get time to break ground in the spring,
Yeah.
we're waiting on another 2 weeks.
My exact comments to Stantec, that
Okay.
we cannot wait on this thing, we gotta get this thing
Yeah.
going, so.
So I have a comment on Mass Ave water main replacement, because there's so many comments that I hear about fiscally responsible decisions and voting and how much money we spend. I brought this up before, and I want to clarify it. When we originally went out to a project estimate for this project. Can you remind me what that estimate was?
800,000,
Okay. And then what did the estimate come in when we went to bid?
2.3.
Okay.
2.2.
And what did we award the project at?
It was just a little over 2 million. But we always carry contingency. We borrowed 2.3.
Right.
So we do have a little cushion.
And any concerns or any comments from residents about the fact that this project tripled in price?
None,
Okay. That's all.
not one. Yeah.
I brought this up before, that people will talk about an isolated incident, but not talk about something that's grossly more money.
Who did you think would be concerned? I mean, I know who I thought should be concerned.
I would be concerned.
Yeah.
I was concerned.
I was concerned, I still am
I
concerned.
still am concerned, you know, that we could have that much of a discrepancy. We're talking,
300%.
Inflation over that.
yeah, that's not close.
Well, my concern is,
So my concern is about the engineering and the original estimate. My concern is that when people bring up budgetary concerns in other areas of the district, that they don't look at how grossly huge that one is and have more of a concern about that.
my concern is like you guys, the money is, it's just crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
It is.
And how Stantec does this every day of the week. How did they screw up that much
Well,
of a
I don't think they did.
I don't
No.
think they did, I think
It
because
was-
also the cost of pipe went astronomically
When
high.
COVID came in, they stopped making the pipe. So then when the project started being redone and starting to actually take place, there was no pipe available. So whatever was available, the price like tripled. You know, instead of $20 a foot, now it's $75, $80 a foot.
Right.
So
I understand a lot of the increases because we've had these conversations. But when you look at it from layman's terms, and you look at the jump in value, I understand that piping, DOT, and
Flowable
multiple
fill,
requirements.
yeah.
Us having to drill new, drill holes where we weren't expecting to drill holes, and those sorts of things. I understand it, but just when you look at the numbers, for nobody to have a question,
It's pretty amazing.
yes.
You know, if you got quoted $1,000 to put a new door in your house, and all of a sudden it was $4,500, you'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it.
Well,
we're in
if the guy
we're in
said,
the jam.
yeah, but if
We
It's
it-
gotta
your front
do it.
door and you gotta have one, you're gonna.
if it was brought up after that they had to replace the whole and casing, and then when they figured out they needed to do this, that, and the other, then you understand it.
Right.
But on the surface, there's no questions. So,
All right.
anyway, so yes, the major concern is exactly what you brought up, that we need to get this thing stamped.
Yes.
So as soon as the snow's out of the ground.
Right.
Yeah, because I've been trying to get things done for the last few weeks, and then now what do we got? MLK weekend coming up.
Yeah, right.
So
Well, I'm
another
just saying,
short week, another
It's gonna be a
short,
short week, and next thing you know,
short week after short week after short week, we've been
And I mean,
having.
if we get lucky and spring breaks early, we want to get on this
Yep.
ASAP, so.
Yeah. We're actually into old business. We'll come back to the other stuff, so we might as well finish it. The Keating's pilot study.
that one, they're still in design phase.
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned this a few times. The Blue Leaf, who does the pilot test, they did a test up in Maine for a town that also had hard water. So they're gonna relocate that whole test system to Lunenburg. Right now, they're in the discussions with Ty and Bond. The whole pilot testing needs to be approved by Mass DEP. So they're setting up the application on how we're gonna do the process, and then they're gonna submit it, and then we're gonna.
Okay, so kind of to reiterate to the public, if somebody's rewatching this, we are using the ARPA fund that we got
Yep.
to fund the pilot study for the Keating well, and that the Keating well has its own host of issues separate and not similar to any of our other supplies.
Very correct, yep.
So, that, just to clarify that, and,
I have two things on old business, if we're doing old business.
if they're not on the actual agenda for old business that I'm discussing, they will have to come under Commissioner, Superintendent.
Okay.
Additions. Or public comments, sir.
Sorry. Screwed up a lot.
So that's in line and running
moving
with
ahead.
our timelines and
Yep.
everything else.
Yep. it's moving.
Great. Okay, so that concludes old business, which was Mass Ave, Hickory Hills, and the Keating's pilot study. I would now move to our fourth item on the agenda, which is Commissioner, Superintendent, Clerk, Treasurer's additions. And for anybody that would like to start there, I will leave the table open.
One of the, on the pilot test for Keating's,
Oh, no, we're past that.
I'm not sure the runnability of that well. If the pilot test is going, I don't know how we're allowed to run the well.
Right.
I'm not sure how that's gonna run as a, so we need to figure, I'm just making a statement that I'm not sure.
They're still building they're still submitting the test to DEP and figuring that all out, correct?
Oh, yeah, yes, yep. But, and then when it comes time to start doing the pilot test, what do we do? Do we run the well to waste, or do we run it into the system? And can we shut it off? You know, so we gotta figure how it's gonna happen, so I'm not really sure.
Above
So-
my pay grade.
So we'll see what the engineers come up with. I'm sure they've done
Yeah.
this for an active source. So
Kinda curious too.
Okay, all right.
Okay, now
Back to
we're
the
done.
floor.
Oh, wait.
We'll go right around the table.
We'll go
We
right
start
around.
start with you, yes.
Well, now I have three things.
Okay.
I would also like a copy of that thing every time, so I,
Oh,
Yes,
so I
okay.
can see it.
Okay.
Two quick things. One, the individual that we met with on last session about paying his bill, he had the leaky pipe, and we talked about that. Did that get all
Yes.
squared up? Is he good
Yes.
to go?
Yes.
Secondly, the prior meeting before that with the individual that did his own water repair, did we
Oh,
go
that
out
was
there?
perfect. Yep.
Okay.
We shut it down, turned it on later, and didn't hear a thing.
All right.
It worked out good.
okay.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay. Mr. Esposito, you got anything?
I don't want to say anything either.
I don't really, I'm at a
I'm good.
loss for words.
I'll make a motion to, oh, no.
Whoa, easy. We have public today.
That's right.
Do we have any comments from the public?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rogers?
Dave Rogers, 82 Highland Street. Just my own opinion on some issues that came up. Mr. O'Brien submitted something to the board and wanted a response and I still feel this way. I would somehow or another make reference to the fact that the board reviewed that and comment that it was not approved and you don't support it, rather than getting into the specificity of this and this and this and that. It was real simple. He submitted it, you talked about it, and you made your vote. And I really think it should go in the minutes as just a follow-up. What was the other thing? Oh, signs, real simple. Please, no parking anytime.
Police take notice.
Well,
Maybe.
police won't take the notice, but,
I mean, it's
yeah,
just
I mean,
no-
it's just trying to, the access needs to be maintained for us 24/7 down there.
All right.
That's all I have.
Yep. Yep.
I'm over here in the corner.
Mr. Bingham, nice to see you, sir.
150 Peninsula Drive. Did you guys have this brought up at your meetings before about the funds that you guys got accepted from DEP for this, for the well?
Oh, for the SRF?
Yes.
Funding, or for the
Has
ARPA
that-
you're talking about, the SRF?
The SRF fund. Did
I
you get
believe you did
approved,
tell them,
or-
didn't you?
Yes, we went through
They haven't
this.
had meetings on TV, so I.
Right.
Oh, right, because we
Okay.
did not, yes.
Yes, so we were approved, we're on the list for funding.
Oh, yeah.
There's no specific details of what the funding is specific to for like financial, like grants, principal forgiveness, that, none of that is stated in it. It's a zero interest loan, worst case is a 2% loan, but I believe in our case it's a 0% loan. And we are, the loan was approved for 14.9 million
So,
Through SRF.
through SRF.
in layman's terms, this is a good thing. And I believe you also stated that the engineer stated that there is a potential for
forgiveness.
loan forgiveness, to an amount. I wouldn't think the state's gonna give us $14 million, but
Yes, I agree. Because they have to give a certain amount to small systems. Because we're a small system, certain allocations of funds go to small systems. So the engineers believe that we will likely get more principal forgiveness for this than what, say, a bigger city would get. And then also we discussed, when we actually do build the treatment plant, we'll do solar on the plant, which also kicks in additional principal forgiveness. So we'll do extra.
so this is a starting point for funding for PFAS remediation
Correct.
and getting low interest and forgiveness. I'm assuming this has a time frame.
We need to have approval, voter approval for the funding to say we're allowed to borrow the 14.9 million. And I believe it was June 30th,
Of,
2024.
so we have to have our master plan done and everything together and approval from the voters by June of 2024, or we lose this potential low finance, principal forgiveness,
Yes.
and some of this additional that might go to small water systems.
Correct. This is extremely difficult to get on this. We've applied for years. And because of the PFAS is the only reason why we got on this list.
Do they forgive a certain percentage? They don't tell you what it's gonna be?
They don't
Nothing?
tell you. They have to figure out all the projects, and they look at how much money they have, which the Massachusetts puts money in the pot, and then also in this case, the federal government put a lot of money into it. So they have to look at the money they have for the year and disperse it. So if, let's say that we were the only project, we'd probably get a lot of principal forgiveness.
Yeah.
So this is my big push for focusing on this one, because when the next wells come in, everybody's going after these because that regulation's dropping. So the amount of principal forgiveness is gonna be dispersed to so many people, it's gonna be much less.
And you have to be in a position to accept those funds. So having some sort of a plan on how we would utilize those funds, doesn't mean it's gonna do, $14 million to me, I think we're gonna spend double that by the time we're done.
Oh, yeah.
So it's clear, $14 million is what we are approved for, is not going to cure the PFAS problem in Lunenburg for the water system.
Correct.
Can I follow up with that? I've seen comments talking about residents worrying about the rates and us making decisions, you making decisions as a board on what's gonna come. Well, this isn't a decision just to make a treatment plant because you want to make a treatment plant. We have to do this. So if we don't approve these funds going forward, and we have to go out, DEP's still gonna make us treat PFAS, so we're gonna have to do this. And unfortunately, yes, some of this is gonna fall on the ratepayers, but we're trying to stay ahead of this to get the principal forgiveness, to get the zero interest loans. We're trying to do a litigation to get money from the developers of PFAS. So us as a water district are trying to do as much and everything that we can to make it as least of an impact to our ratepayers as possible. So I understand everywhere water rates are gonna go up. It's not just Lunenburg.
Yeah.
Everywhere that PFAS is
Do you
there.
have a comment related to what we're talking about? Yep, go ahead, you need to state your name, sir.
Matt Bluebell, 77 Pratt Street. Fran, do you think in your opinion that the state is eventually gonna force us to have a PFAS mitigation in town and have a treatment plant eventually at a greater cost than it currently would be with this plan?
Definitely. So our major sources, if you look at individual sources, well number 5 on Lancaster Ave is the highest producing source on Lancaster Ave. And then we have the Keating well. Both of those wells are highest producers, exceeds the PFAS level, the new regulation that's coming out. So whether there's a way of sneaking around, having certain wells run, they're not able to meet the demands from Lunenburg. So there'd be a short-term thing. But so yes, we will definitely need to do treatment plants at all the sources. And I think as in time goes on, when we do the pilot test next year, we'll be going through SRF funding for the PFAS plants for the other sites. how many people are gonna be on that list? I bet you it's gonna be 10 times that. The list can only go for so long. So we might not even get funding through the SRF for that. So now we're going for bonds. What was the bond rate? We just got 4.5%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
4.5% over a 20-year bond.
$20 million is a pretty good
Huge money compared to 14.90% with principal forgiveness that we don't know about. So I know people don't like it, but this is the way we're going, and this is the best way to control the water rates as much as we can. And this is the best way.
Littleton did one of their plants, I think it was 2 years ago, and they got a $20 million SRF loan, and they had a $4 million principal forgiveness on it. So, I mean, you know, that was, yeah, they were on the
Yeah.
ball, and they got in this right
If they
away.
did it 2 years ago,
You're
you're
right.
looking.
So, like, you know, I mean, I don't think we'll see that, but like they,
We could, because the federal government kicked in a lot of
But you
money.
you say Littleton, so let's see where we are as into our geographical area. Littleton built a plant. I believe Air has built a plant. I believe Townsend is in process of building a plant. I don't know about Groton or Shirley, but, you know, I'm a firm believer we need to get on this, and I think you guys are being very proactive, trying to gain the funding, working with the engineers, coming up with a plan to move forward, because if we're not prepared, this is not going to cost us less money down the road.
No.
Kind of what you were getting at with Mass Ave. Look at what happened in 2 years.
Look at what
Tripled.
happened, and then that's
If we
what,
don't
that's
do this.
exactly where I'm going. Name a project in town. I'm gonna go to you, Mr. Rogers, I'm gonna pick you out, even though you're not supposed to pick on an individual. Can you name a project in town that we waited on and saved money? In your tenure?
Yeah, Karen and I bought a refrigerator.
So, we all know this, it's fact, that the longer we wait, the more we draw this out, the more money it's going to cost the public. And-
This
and-
has gotta get done now, or we're not gonna be able, nobody's gonna be able to afford it. You know, it's gotta get done, just has to get done.
Yeah, and do it the best way we can. We have no, just so the public knows right now, we have no designs of any treatment facilities, any locations in mind. Everything right now is discussion and conceptual.
Yes. Yep, the conceptual, the master plan is being worked on as we speak. And we just hear little opinions of what they think the method should be for doing the
Yep,
treatment.
and at some point, once the master plan's complete, the whole idea is that it gets presented to us. Any options that were considered are brought out, and why they aren't on the master plan would be defined when that comes out.
Right, so the big plan is when we met with the educational people to get this thing on board, was we need time to educate everybody of, you know, all the PFAS stuff, and we felt it was too much of a time crunch to have our March special annual meeting
Yep.
as the one to vote for this treatment plan.
Yep.
So we decided we'll do our regular annual meeting, we'll call a special meeting, and we're under the opinion that it'll be in May at some point, and that'll be one article specific to that funding for that
Treatment.
SRF loan. And it's borrowing money, so it's 2/3 vote, no matter what we do, 2/3.
What?
And leading up to that.
We don't need a bylaw for that?
Just so
No.
everybody
Two-thirds
knows,
votes.
is all ARPA funding. That is not water district funding leading up to
Right.
all of this is part of the ARPA
The-
funding was the educational piece and the master plan. So
Correct.
that was all approved through the selectmen, through the ARPA funding. So over the next couple months, our goal is to educate every resident in Lunenburg about PFAS and then tell you what Lunenburg Water District wants to do so that everyone's aware and prepared when that vote comes for that $14.9
And that
million,
vote-
why it is so important,
And
so,
when people know all the information, it should be a unanimous vote.
yeah. And
100%
that is our
should
hope, that is what our goal is, to educate people so that they understand everything that we've been going through, so.
But as part of the education, trying to tie in somewhere in the initial, but we have to educate them on the master plan and where that's going.
Right.
Yep,
And why that is once we have something to discuss in front of us,
Right.
why that is, why it's important that we go that
And the
way.
master plan is not only gonna look at how to treat the sources, financially, what's the best way to treat the sources.
So, yeah, we're not just doing it because we want to do it a certain way, we're trying to do it the most fiscally responsible way as well.
Exactly.
So just you to Mr. Bringer, this was brought up at last meeting. These documents were available to show everybody where the funding, what we got. Just to-
But unfortunately, as he was saying,
It was
we
not
did not have it
televised.
on there, so
Right,
thank
you know,
you for
and-
following up,
and-
so
you
that
know,
we could get this out.
Just let everybody know that.
Yep.
You know
Yes.
whether that, I mean, there was talk about bringing that up at the selectmen's meeting, I don't know whether that happened.
I sent it to him.
You sent it to him, so I haven't seen the selectmen's meeting, so.
I
Yeah.
haven't either.
Have they had one? I thought they missed a couple.
They might.
I mean, it's a tough
When I
time
sent
of year.
it, they might have,
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I stop you for a minute, because I have to switch the batteries?
I think I think, are we?
Are you
Yeah,
done
we're all
another
good.
minute or so? Or are you done?
Oh, well, hold on. Why don't we take, we're gonna take a,
6 minutes.
Oh, we
oh, we got
got,
time.
can you, all right.
Do we?
So are we pretty well, I think that it was great that we had this discussion. We're gonna have further discussions.
Yep.
We're still in,
Which one? Hickory Hills?
Hickory Hills, yeah.
He did.
Oh, you wanna talk more about it?
No, is the pilot study getting close to done, or we?
No,
Oh, no, it's just getting ramped up.
Yeah.
We haven't even begun the full process yet.
Yeah.
There's 3 stages, iron, manganese, then the PFAS. So we're on the iron stage right now, they're ramping it up to get the manganese going, and then it'll go to the PFAS.
So it'll be all set in that time frame that we have that for,
Oh, you're thinking for when we go to do the master plan to vote for the
Yes.
14th? It may not be done, but they will have a very good amount of data.
They'll know what the
to be
treatment plant
able
needs to
to-
look like.
Yeah.
They might not be able to size the columns, because they need to see when the breakthrough happens, but they'll know enough information to build it.
okay.
okay, any other public comment? Yes, Mr. Rogers.
For the last 10 to 15 minutes, you folks have discussed the absolute most important part of what's going on. And it's essential that you keep saying it and saying it and saying it, because we've all seen criticism. Well, there's a lot of money, the rates are going up and all this stuff. They haven't seen anything yet. You don't have to say that, but the fact of the matter is you're on top of it. This $14 million is big stuff. Forgiveness is who knows, but the point is that you're working like crazy to try and do the right thing by this.
That's right.
Okay, and you just, you can have a captive audience here tonight, I don't know if you can say anything, but boy, I'll tell you, this thing is absolutely paramount. And you're commended for saying, keep on going.
Thank you, sir.
I concur.
Yep. All right, are we all set on public comment before we run out of battery? All right.
What did he say?
I would accept a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Water Commissioners.
I make a motion to adjourn this
So
meeting.
moved.
All right, we're done.
that's,